On a regular day, some thrill-seekers found themselves perched on the towering summit of a city skyscraper. Little did they know that their daring exploit was about to take an unexpected turn. Amidst their adrenaline-fueled laughter and the distant hum of the city, a sudden flicker of light caught their attention, the unmistakable beam of a security officer's flashlight on the ground floor. They decided to split into two groups. Without a word, they bolted towards the nearest exit, the thrill of adventure now replaced by the pulsating rhythm of an impending chase.
Why? Where do we go?
The chase intensified, the security officer's call for reinforcements echoing through the stairwell. The pursuit turned into a heart-pounding race against time, each step echoing the relentless pursuit behind them. With a calculated move, they decided to part ways, a strategic maneuver to divert the attention of their pursuers.
Get out of here.
Little did the police know, this was the moment the chase transformed into a thrilling game of cat and mouse, and against all odds the duo vanished. It was an ordinary day for this NYPD officer as he patrolled the busy roads of New York City. Amid the regular hustle and bustle, a routine traffic stop took place. The offending vehicle, a BMW, was emitting thick black smoke clouds, creating an environmental hazard for pedestrians and fellow drivers. Determined to enforce the law, the officer signaled the driver to pull over for a traffic violation. As the officer approached the vehicle, he expected the usual exchange, a license, registration, and a citation. However, what followed was far from ordinary. The driver, seemingly unperturbed by the infringement, decided to take matters into his own hands. Instead of cooperating, he abruptly shifted gears and accelerated, catching the NYPD officer off guard. In a shocking turn of events, the officer found himself hit by the fleeing vehicle as the car drove off. The police stood up and attempted to give the car a chase along with other NYPD officers present at the scene.
Get that car! Get the car!
The perpetrator's car, however, weaved through traffic at an elusive speed. A police officer pulled over a driver during a routine traffic stop. The tension was thick as the officer approached the driver's window. Instead of cooperating, the driver surprised everyone by making a run for it. He tried to dodge the officer at every turn, weaving through the scene. It was like a high-stakes dance between the two. As the officer closed in, the unexpected happened. Realizing he was trapped, the driver decided to face off with the officer. Punches were thrown, turning the traffic stop into an unexpected brawl. The onlookers were stunned by the sudden turn of events as the scuffle escalated unexpectedly. Amidst the chaos, another driver tried to intervene, attempting to break up the fight. Seizing the opportunity, the perpetrator managed to slip away, rushing back to his car. In a daring move, he sped off, narrowly avoiding the police officer who had bravely tried to stop him. During the chase, the man at the tractor's wheel seemed to have a plan. With the police hot on his tail, he skillfully guided the massive vehicle, weaving through the streets like a seasoned escape artist. The tractor's sturdy frame barreled forward, leaving little room for the officers to catch up. As the tractor driver gained distance, other drivers on the road played their part in this unexpected drama. They quickly gave way, perhaps perplexed by the unusual sight of a tractor being pursued by the police. The tractor driver took advantage of this unexpected cooperation, smoothly navigating through the traffic with a sly grin. as if his occupation granted him a unique pass through the urban jungle. When the usual roads became too restrictive for his escape plan, the tractor driver showed no hesitation. In a daring move, he steered the tractor onto the pavement, plowing through obstacles that stood in his way.
Full SWAT team, bro.
The police officers, caught off guard by this unconventional escape route, were momentarily delayed as the tractor rumbled through, disappearing from sight. During a routine traffic stop, NYPD officers gestured for the driver to turn off his car engine. However, with a plan unfolding in his mind, the driver declined to follow their instructions. To the officers' surprise, the driver swiftly accelerated away, catching them off guard as they reached for the car door, their commands hanging in the air. As the driver circled the scene, he seemed to be in a constant dance with the police, assessing the surroundings for an escape route. The NYPD officers, initially at ease due to the presence of surrounding police cars, suddenly found themselves in a situation where the routine stop had transformed into an unexpected challenge. The driver, determined to elude capture, continued his rounds, leaving a trail of damaged car parts, including a battered hood. Undeterred by the growing damage to his vehicle, the driver persisted until he identified a strategic route. With a sudden burst of speed, he executed a calculated escape, navigating through the streets until he vanished from the NYPD officer's pursuit. At the Oklahoma County Courthouse in Oklahoma City, David Knight, a 30-year-old man in a brown jacket, was to appear at the courthouse for a hearing related to drug possession charges. Unbeknownst to him, there is an outstanding warrant for his arrest, adding an unexpected layer to his day.
Slips out of the courtroom. His exit is perfectly timed, hitting the elevator just as the doors are opening.
During the court proceedings, as deputies move in to take him into custody, Knight seizes a moment of opportunity. Sensing the impending arrest, he slips out of the courtroom with perfect timing, reaching the elevator just as its doors open. On the ground floor, Knight quickly assesses the situation and decides to make a break for it, attempting to evade capture.
With the officer on his heels, Knight bursts through the exit and out onto the street.
The pursuit intensifies as Knight races towards the exit, navigating the courthouse's security checkpoints. Despite a valiant effort, a deputy manages to catch up with him just out of the camera's view.
It's a flat-out foot race for freedom. And the winner is the deputy, who, just out of the camera...
In a swift and dramatic moment, Knight is brought down with a tackle on the street, surrounded by curious onlookers. Subsequently, he faces charges of obstructing an officer and, after pleading guilty, receives a 1-year suspended sentence contingent on adhering to probation conditions. In an ongoing manhunt in the city, Tarek Arnold, his hands cuffed behind him, makes a daring escape from NYPD officers in Harlem.
Video just into our newsroom. Watch as Tarek Arnold, with his hands cuffed behind him, running away from NYPD officers in Harlem as they were taking him to Central.
The dramatic scene unfolds as surveillance cameras capture Arnold, bound in handcuffs, running down West 135th Street with 2 detectives in pursuit. Despite the attempted manhunt, Arnold manages to evade the police, creating a tense situation for onlookers and law enforcement alike.
House in Harlem. Police say they were taking him to a waiting vehicle when Arnold made his move, running west on West 135th Street toward Frederick Douglass Boulevard.
For 16.5 hours, Arnold successfully remains on the run, eluding police efforts to apprehend him. The escape, caught on camera, portrays Arnold bolting down the street, showcasing the daring attempt to evade custody. The heightened tension is palpable as the escaped prisoner maneuvers through the streets of Harlem, with law enforcement hot on his trail.
Cleared the perimeter. They didn't let anybody in the building.
The failed overnight manhunt, spanning through the day, leaves authorities without any signs of the 23-year-old suspect. Despite the efforts to locate him, Arnold, charged with attempted murder, remains at large, presenting a potential threat given his prior arrests and history of violent felonies. Police officers signaled a car to pull over, expecting a routine traffic stop. However, the driver inside had different plans. The officer approached, requesting the driver to open the car door and step out, but things took an unexpected turn.
Turn it off!
Rather than cooperating, the driver swiftly maneuvered his car in a different direction, defying the officer's instructions. The tension escalated as the police, taken by surprise, scrambled to react to the unexpected evasion. The driver, determined to avoid the impending confrontation, chose to drive off, leaving the officers in a state of astonishment. In the midst of a dramatic pursuit, this suspect, a seasoned escape artist, skillfully eluded police custody. With a well-calculated plan, suspect deftly maneuvered through the building. The chase intensified as the suspect demonstrated an intricate knowledge of the surroundings, slipping away from the grasp of the pursuing officers. In a daring attempt to capture the elusive suspect, a determined police officer jumped, landing on his back during their chase on a staircase. The impact left the officer injured, momentarily unable to move. The stairwell became a temporary battleground, with the wounded officer grappling to regain control as the suspect exploited every opportunity to continue the escape. Police officers pursued this car while trying to have the driver pull over, but the driver did not cooperate. After a while, the police cars surrounded the car, leaving the driver with no escape route. Initially seemingly trapped, the driver faced the daunting task of dodging 3 police cars surrounding him. However, as seconds ticked away, a surprising turn of events unfolded. The driver skillfully maneuvered through the encircling police cars, creating a path of escape. It was a moment of unexpected finesse, like a nimble dance move in response to an unforeseen beat. The escape artist behind the wheel swiftly outwitted the officers, leaving them momentarily perplexed at the sudden turn of the chase. In 2015, an intriguing escapade unfolded as 3 friends discovered themselves perched atop a roof in central Madrid, the piercing wail of an alarm filling the air. With the distant presence of police signaling imminent danger, the urgency to descend became palpable.
We made our way down the fire escape. Police and security were on the next stairway, making their way to the top of the roof, trying to block our exit. We paused for a moment.
Amidst the escalating pursuit, they decided to match the increasing pace of the police. Racing to the bottom before their pursuers, they darted in the opposite direction, vaulting over a small gate and discovering a staircase leading to an escape route. With dwindling options, one of them faced the daring challenge of a 15-foot drop to the ground, burdened by a heavy backpack. Hesitation gripped the third guy as his other friend bravely joined the descent.
Notice me. A passerby notices security running and sees me, but simply carries on with her day.
Attempts to signal for assistance in grabbing his bag proved futile. Left alone on the rooftop, he sought an alternative route, taking refuge behind metal structures as security closed in. In a daring move, he hurled his bag onto a platform to mitigate the impact. He successfully landed the bag and summoned the courage to attempt the descent, overcoming initial hesitation. Running in the opposite direction, his familiarity with the area enabled him to navigate away from security, achieving a successful escape.
I managed to land it safely and collect my bag.
Upon reconnecting with his friends via Wi-Fi, he learned of their detainment and subsequent release, as no offenses had been committed. In a startling turn of events, a teenager made a daring escape from a courtroom just minutes after being sentenced to 5 months in prison. The shocking incident unfolded after 21-year-old Callum Finter was jailed for an unusual offense, pushing a button that enabled his 17-year-old companion to flee the courthouse. The gripping video footage captures the dramatic escape as Finter pressed the button in a hallway of Bradford Crown Court, causing a previously locked door to swing open, granting the teenager a path to freedom. The Bradford Crown Court was presented with CCTV evidence showcasing Finter's deliberate act of pressing the button, resulting in the sudden liberation of his younger friend, who promptly made a run for it. Finter's legal defense contended that the button was triggered spontaneously, refuting any intent to aid his friend, who was facing charges related to phone theft. In a surprising turn of events captured on bodycam footage, 2 men managed to slip away from police custody during a routine medical checkup. As the officers attended to their duties, the individuals seized the opportune moment, swiftly evading the grasp of the law. With a burst of agility, they took off, navigating the surroundings with an unexpected burst of speed, leaving the pursuing officers momentarily baffled. In a seemingly routine courtroom scenario, inmates proceed to exit under the vigilant gaze of armed guards. However, the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary when, less than a minute later, Gerald Hyde II defies expectations, slipping away from the guards and executing a swift escape from the now deserted courtroom.
The room with armed guards. According to the timestamp, less than a minute later, the escape is on. Gerald Hyde II somehow gets away from the guards and runs out.
Before his departure, Hyde strategically sheds his shirt, concealing the handcuffs still fastened around his wrists. The audacious escape unfolds as Hyde navigates the hallways of the Justice Center, leaving his orange jail-issued shoes behind.
He takes off his shirt to cover the handcuffs still on his wrists. Hyde then runs through the hallways of the Justice Center, leaving his orange jail-issued shoes behind.
Despite a brief taste of freedom, Hyde's escape was short-lived, as law enforcement swiftly recaptured him after just 2 hours. In a dramatic incident captured by security cameras, a man took a daring leap from a balcony at the Franklin County Courthouse after a sentencing hearing. The abrupt action left everyone in the vicinity astonished, creating a sense of urgency among police officers present at the scene. Unfazed by the unexpected turn of events, the officers swiftly analyzed the situation, realizing that replicating the man's bold leap wasn't feasible. Instead, they opted for an alternative approach, choosing to pursue him through the more conventional means of the stairwells. In an unexpected turn of events, a girl who was handcuffed managed to escape from police custody. Seizing an opportunity while the police officer was occupied at the back of the vehicle, the determined girl stealthily reached for the door handle of the police car. With a bit of luck, she successfully opened the door without alerting the officer. Swiftly descending from the car, the girl wasted no time and sprinted away as fast as she could. Her sudden escape caught the police officer off guard, leaving him unaware of her actions until it was too late. In a daring move, a guy tricked the cops and got away using rollerblades. When the police tried catching up with him, he zoomed through the streets on his rollerblades, moving quickly to escape. He was like a smooth glider, and the officers couldn't keep up with him. It was surprising how he cleverly used rollerblades to escape from the police. In a residential area, 2 Seattle police cruisers strategically corner a fleeing suspect, deploying a coordinated effort to apprehend the elusive driver. Despite their initial maneuver, the driver skillfully evades both cruisers, intensifying the pursuit. The determined officers persist in their chase of the white vehicle, determined to bring the fleeing suspect to justice.
What are you going to do? Free! Right now!
However, as the pursuit unfolds, the suspect manages to elude visual contact, leaving the officers momentarily without a clear line of sight. During the escort to a court hearing at Fairfield Court, a suspect made a bold attempt to escape. As the police officer struggled to apprehend him, another officer joined the chase in an effort to capture the fleeing criminal. However, an unexpected turn of events unfolded. One of the officers seized the suspect by the other end of the chain, used to tie his neck, intending to prevent his escape. Despite this attempt to restrain him, the suspect skillfully slipped away, evading capture. A dramatic scene unfolded in an Oregon courthouse as surveillance video captured a murder suspect, Eddie Villalobos Jr., sprinting away from bailiffs after being unshackled in court, a mandatory procedure under state law. The 28-year-old, facing charges of murder and various other felonies, was expected to attend the commencement of his trial. However, in an unexpected turn, Villalobos seized the opportunity, bolting down the hallway and making a swift escape through an employees-only exit. The daring escape triggered a massive manhunt as law enforcement scrambled to locate Villalobos, intensifying efforts to bring him back into custody. At the Meigs County Courthouse in Decatur, Tennessee, a routine family court case took an unexpected turn when 33-year-old Rashad Hawkins, recently sentenced to jail for failing to pay child support, decided to make a daring escape. After being sentenced, Hawkins fled the courtroom, hurdled the balcony, and disappeared into a crawl space, stunning authorities. For 20 days, he evaded capture as a wanted man until he was arrested 200 miles away following a trespassing complaint and scuffle with police. Now facing charges in Tennessee, plus new counts of trespassing, resisting arrest, and assaulting an officer. During a struggle involving 2 police officers and Lucas Castanhari dos Santos, 25 years old, who appeared to be fleeing the moment he descended from the police vehicle.
Ele há pouco falou, desse assunto que ia trazer as informações e nós requisitamos todas elas.
The suspect was being led by someone turning to the right, and Lucas was already looking to the left, seeing where he would escape. He fled with both hands behind him. We can see in this footage that until that moment, he had not managed to get rid of the handcuffs.
Pecadas que o traficante deu contra o policial, você falou tiro na perna, tiro no quadril, levou uns 4 balaços, Fernando, dos PMs, o outro também acabou.
He ended up grabbing the weapon of one of the police officers and shooting at the squad that was taking him from the city of Chavant to the central police station in Zavante. In a shocking incident captured on dashcam footage, a woman managed to escape from a moving Travis County deputy's vehicle in Austin, Texas.
Questions like, how did she get out of those handcuffs? How did she open the door? And did the deputy sheriff who arrested her do everything by the book?
KXAN's Alicia in.
The video shows the suspect, identified as 27-year-old Jessica Ann Lopez, bolting from the moving patrol car into oncoming traffic. The circumstances surrounding the escape raised concerns about the safety of the situation and the procedures followed during the arrest.
police chief who says don't be too quick to judge.
Austin drivers heading down West 7th Street were...
Deputies later explained that Lopez, who was on her way to jail, complained of the heat inside the car. Allegedly, she squeezed one of her hands out of the handcuffs, reached through the window, and unlocked the door from the outside. Despite the unexpected escape, the deputy quickly pursued her, apprehending Lopez within 50 feet of the vehicle, and she was promptly returned to custody. Lopez, originally arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, now faces additional charges related to attempting to escape custody. In a daring escape on the highway, a suspect managed to break free from police custody, sprinting as fast as he could amidst speeding vehicles. Despite the efforts of the pursuing police officer, the agile suspect skillfully avoided capture, maintaining a rapid pace that outpaced their attempts to catch up. In Rochester Hills, sentencing turned into a chase when a man from Pontiac, sentenced to 90 days in jail, seized an opportunity and made a run for it.
And this defendant was just sentenced to 90 days in jail.
As the deputy walked in the courtroom, the guy spotted the deputy, and it was off to the races.
Outside.
The incident unfolded as the court deputy entered the courtroom, prompting the defendant to sprint across the street.
Corner of your screen, and there he goes. He bolts across the street, and moments later, there's the deputy and a few more.
Although officers managed to apprehend him in a wooded area, the sheriff emphasized the potential dangers of such situations, highlighting concerns for the safety of officers and the need for proper protocols. In a daring escape, a motorcyclist skillfully maneuvered through various routes, accelerating at top speed to evade law enforcement. The scene unfolded as a high-stakes chase, with the agile rider deftly navigating the surroundings to avoid capture. Despite the efforts of law enforcement, the motorcycle sped away, leaving the pursuing officers behind in the pursuit of a swift and elusive escape. A criminal slated to appear in a magistrate court managed to escape right in front of a police officer, highlighting a concerning lapse in security.
Going to appear in a magistrate court. Escape in front of a police.
The escape unfolded as a police officer in charge failed to prevent the criminal from fleeing, raising questions about the effectiveness of law enforcement in such situations.
Who fail to stop the criminal to escape. These are the people that...
The escape of the criminal highlights potential weaknesses in the physical abilities of the involved police officers. It underscores the importance of implementing rigorous fitness testing and training programs to ensure law enforcement personnel possess the strength and agility needed to handle and restrain individuals in custody effectively. In Los Angeles, a high-speed pursuit unfolded as a silver vehicle, identified as a four-door Mercedes sedan, raced along the shoulder of the road. The live footage captured the vehicle weaving through traffic, and observers noticed damage, including a broken left side mirror dangling from the driver's side.
Is just hanging there, dangling off the side as this live pursuit taking place in Los Angeles, weaving through traffic, and hopefully we'll get our Fox 11.
The pursuit continued at speeds around 50 miles per hour, with the driver evading any visible police presence at that point. The chaotic chase traversed Interstate 10 near Western Avenue and Jefferson Park, with the vehicle navigating through traffic.
Here, if there were any collisions before this, or if this is what the collision is what started this pursuit here, but it's still northbound just past Washington, just under.
As the pursuit progressed, the damaged vehicle eventually stopped beneath the 10 freeway on Figueroa, offering numerous hiding spots for the driver. The LAPD, assisted by aerial units, scoured the area beneath the freeway, highlighting the challenges law enforcement faces in apprehending suspects during pursuits in urban settings. In a daring escape, a motorcyclist skillfully maneuvered through traffic, accelerating rapidly to evade law enforcement. Initially, the rider slowed down, luring one of the officers on patrol to make a move. However, with swift reflexes, the motorcyclist bent his head and accelerated, eluding the officer's attempt to grab him. In Brooklyn, a 21-year-old man named Joseph King managed to escape police custody while being transported to central booking on charges of assault and grand larceny.
21-year-old Joseph King, while being transported to central booking on assault and grand larceny charges, police say he was able to free his hand from handcuffs.
The incident unfolded as officers were in the process of taking King into custody, but he somehow freed his hand from the handcuffs and fled the scene. Joseph King's escape occurred as he was last seen running into the Hoyt-Schermerhorn Street subway station.
King was last seen running into the Hoyt-Schermerhorn Street subway station. If you see...
The authorities have now heightened their efforts to track down King and bring him back into custody.